So it's time to start this class. Hello, everybody. Welcome to
Hello.
all the members. Hi, Philippe. How are you doing?
I'm fine. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And thank you all who are coming, all the members of our club, El Club de los Grandes Traductores, our membership, and of course, all the people that will be watching the streaming of this class via YouTube, our YouTube channel. So here we are going to attend a very, very interesting masterclass by Philippe Mercier, who is going to talk to us about their WordScope, his CAT tool, a new CAT tool with a lot of interesting integrations. And let me please introduce you to Philippe. I'm going to make a very short presentation of Philippe, and then he will be presenting this interesting class. Well, let me tell you that Philippe Mercier began his career as an IT consultant and author of dozens of software and programming books published in France. His passion for writing and his experience in IT quickly led him to the world of translation and software localization, where he participated in numerous projects and various positions within translation agencies. Drawing on his experience in IT and his understanding of the challenges that translators have to face, he has always strived to develop innovative solutions to meet their specific needs. More recently, he has incorporated the latest advancements in artificial intelligence, such as machine translation and ChatGPT, into a new CAT tool named WordScope that he is going to present us today. Well, this integration aims to assist translators in enhancing the quality and speed of their our services, addressing the growing demand for translation in our globalized world. Thank you so much, Philippe, and the floor is yours.
Thank you for having me, Fernando. It's very nice of you. Well, hello, everyone. First, a few words. I want to apologize if I have some difficulties to talk today, but I have a temporary paralysis of a nerve here. It makes it a bit difficult for me to speak sometimes, so I will try to be as clear as possible. So, as Fernando just said, I've been working 25 years in different agencies, trying to do all kinds of tools to assist translators. Until 2016, we were never using machine translation because the quality was really bad. But in 2017, we have seen the first neural machine translation system like DeepL with really an increased level of quality. So we decided to build WordScope, and what we wanted to do is put all these tools together, because as you know, translators need to do sometimes a lot of research, need to go on several websites for terminology, and that takes a lot of time. So what we have tried to do is really put all the tools together in a tool that is available on a Mac and PC, and we have tried to make it as easy as possible. Something that is very important, we hear a lot of translators that are afraid of AI, thinking it will take their job. And I have the impression that some people today think that there is only one way to translate, so that DeepL can do everything or ChatGPT can do everything. And what I will try to show you today through a real project is that we need several tools to do quality translation, and that AI or ChatGPT is just another tool that we can add to our work. So the agenda of today, I want to say a few words about artificial intelligence, because it's just like a generic term, but there are different tools. I want to say a few words about that. Then we'll spend most of the time doing a live project where I will try to show you all the tools where we can put them together. And then I will show you that as a translator, we can also take control of AI tools with Glossary, so we can really make sure that the AI tool like DeepL or ChatGPT are connected to our glossary, so we don't have to correct over and over the same thing. Then we say a few words about confidentiality, something very important, of course. And then a few tips for translators that are new to AI. And we'll end this webinar with a question and answer, of course. So a few words about artificial intelligence. There are two main tools that we'll be using. The first one is neural machine translation. We're talking about tools like DeepL or Google Translate. They've been around since 2017 and are already used by many translators, as you know. Something very important is you do a translation with DeepL and you ask for the same translation a few minutes later, you will get exactly the same translation. So they are fairly static, good quality, but fairly static. Then we have the large language models like ChatGPT. Now we have other tools like Google Gemini, Facebook. Currently, we believe that ChatGPT is still the best for translator. We do research and test all the time, but our opinion is that ChatGPT is currently the best. Neural machine translation, what is important to say is that the quality depends on the style and quality of the source. That is normal. But the quality also depends on the data that has been used to train those systems. What does that mean? That means DeepL will maybe be good for some text and Google Translate will be better for other text. So it's difficult to choose only one. And we will see later that in WordScope, we have decided not to make you choose one, but to use several machine translation systems at the same time with a very simple system that will allow you to quickly see what are the differences and what could be a better word or better expression when doing a translation. What we see also is that there are some work with some very specific machine translation that could be health-related or legal machine translation. But so far, that is not making really a big difference with a generic tool like DeepL, especially if we can connect DeepL to private glossaries, as we will see at the end of this presentation. Of course, you should avoid using machine translation tool for short text, for a slogan, for marketing, because that will not work because the system does not have context. And so we see sometimes on the Facebook or LinkedIn some examples saying, look how bad is machine translation with a 3-word slogan. Well, this is not a good example because this is normal. As I say, we'll be using multiple machine translation suggestions at the same time, and we'll see that will allow you to compare the different translations. Maybe that it's also learning opportunities for translator because you maybe use for some words, maybe there are other ways to say it. So it's always interesting to make some discoveries like that. Maybe a system will be better at identifying ambiguities than another one. And so we will see that there is not one best translation, like there is not one best translator in the world. Using the different system at the same time is really helpful. Few words about large language model. They are imitating the human language, and they are applicable to numerous fields, so they can generate translation, but they can also answer questions, as we will see. And they can also adapt to a different writing style. We can give extra instruction and like say, use a poetic writing style or be more formal or something like that. That is something that you cannot do with neural machine translation. And that is why, again, using these two systems at the same time can be very interesting. So, as I said at the beginning, what we have tried to do in WordScope, what I will show you now, is that we have tried to put all that together and we try to make those systems work together and help. So maybe one will be good for one thing, then we'll ask ChatGPT to correct the empty suggestion. and we'll connect it also with private glossaries. And the fact that it is all integrated will avoid that you need to copy paste the text, go to ChatGPT, write yourself the prompt and come back, and etc. And that will save you a lot of time. So let's do a live project, because I think it's the best way to understand. I don't want to show you like plenty of slides. So I will go to, so WordScope is a web-based CAD tool. So you just have to navigate to pro.wordscope.com. It's working on Mac, on PC. You don't need any powerful computer. So it's really, you don't need to do updates. The system is always up to date because it's a server-based system. So here, let's start. We can simply give a name. We're going to translate from Spanish into English. And I've prepared a text here.
Excuse me, Philippe, do you mind if we allow people in the chat in our private Zoom room to make questions through the chat box as you go?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yes, please.
Okay.
Yes, please. Yeah. Fine. Just interrupt me at any time if you want.
Okay, yeah. Fine. Thank you.
So I'm just doing a drag and drop the file here on the desktop. It can be any kind of file. It can be a Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel, a PowerPoint, HTML, whatever. You can upload a zip file with many files. It's really up to you. And then we are ready to analyze this project.
Excuse me, Philip. People is saying that they are not seeing your screen, but I think I'm already seeing. Is anyone else has this problem? I'm seeing it, says Maria. It's okay. I can see it perfectly. Maybe it's Jose or Eduardo. Okay. Now, yeah, it's okay. It's okay. Don't worry. Maybe it was just a small delay, but it's okay. Go ahead, please. Yes.
All right. So the system is calculating here. Is doing an estimation of the time needed to complete the project. It's for information. Also, we have you can have the detail of that. And when we are ready, the system will generate, as you can see here, a secret URL. And this is exactly like the Zoom link that you have received to connect to this webinar. So this is a secret URL that you should only share with the people that are involved in the project. If you want to outsource the project, for example, because the password is in the project exactly like a Zoom link that you have received. But no, I'm not sharing the link. I'm going to open the project. And here we go. So what do we see here? We see it's a fairly standard interface if you have been using a CAD tool. So on the left here, I have the source text that we are translating. On the right here, I have the target text that is already pre-translated because I have several machine translation connected. And on the right, I have the suggestion panel, where we will see the suggestion from the different machine translation, from the translation memory, from the glossaries, etc. So here, I will show you before starting, we have a button in the settings where I can connect several translation memories. So I can have a list here at the bottom of translation memories, a list of glossaries. I will not go into too many details now. If you have a question, I can show you later. So currently I have one glossary and one translation memory. And here you can see that I can decide to use all this machine translation. So I will use six machine translation systems during this project. I have also here a terminology option tab, because as I said, we have a lot of public terminology database that are inside WordScope. So you don't have, for example, to go to IAT, which is the terminology of the Europe. You don't have to go on their website. It's included into WordScope, and WordScope will automatically query that database. We have some also from Termium, is from Canada, the UN terminology, and plenty of them. So when I'm ready to start, I will clear that. When I'm ready to start my project, I can just look at the suggestion, accept it, click save. I will go to the next one. And what do we see here at the right? I will make it a bit bigger. You see, those are all the suggestions from DeepL. We have one from DeepL, one from Google Translate, from 4 machine translation systems. And of course, you don't want to read them all because it will take too much time. So what we do, we are using like a track change system, as you can see in green and in red, to show you quickly what are the differences between the different suggestions, and just bring your eye and say, okay, is it the greater your risk or the risk, for example, here? Or you can see that the longer you have had diabetes or not, and we can also turn that on and off using this track change button here. So you can see better, but let's say, for example, that I want to use this Google Translate suggestion. I can just double click on it, and then it's copied here in the edit area. Then, of course, yes?
The default suggestion is DeepL?
No, the default, in this case, yes. The default suggestion is when you go to the setting, you can drag and drop to decide which one is the first.
Okay, great.
So yeah,
Cesar was asking that if there are 6 translation engines connected, which one does it choose? So it chooses the one that you...
The first one.
Okay, great.
During the analysis, yeah.
Thank you.
So then, let me retrieve that. Then you can still, of course, make some changes. So, for example, I double-click on this suggestion, and here I don't want to have this word. I can, of course, just remove it and correct the suggestion. So it's just an assistance. You're, of course, not forced to use it. So what else can you do? Also, other small tools that we have, if you do, of course, a spelling error or something like that, the word will be underlined and there will be a correction. You can just click and correct. There are also some other tools here. For example, if you double click, you can have access to synonym. You see, for example, I have a list of synonym, so I can click and choose one. It will be replaced here. In this case, I will not do it, but it's when you double click on a word, on something, then you have some more options that will happen. So I continue my translation here. You see here again, yes, that's interesting here. We see that now we have a suggestion coming from a private translation memory here. So the first one, this one, is a 93% coming from the translation memory called agency Z. And of course, we display translation memory entries first before machine translation. If we have no TM entry, then you will only see empty suggestion, of course.
This is a TM that you have uploaded first,
yes.
Right?
Yes, okay. You're right. Yes.
Okay.
Uploaded or created during a previous project.
Okay, yeah, understood.
So here I have again the difference. If I want to accept this or make the change, it's similar. So I can just accept it because it's a different way. And I can just continue like that. You see, here it's interesting because nearly all the same MT are showing the same translation. Of course, it's a small sentence, so but there is a good chance, it's a good indication also that might be the good translation. There is only a small change here saying greatly increase your risk or the risk, so you can decide what is best, but sometimes having the same, no track change marks, it's interesting to confirm that the translation might be the good one. What we see also here on the left is that some words are highlighted in yellow and some are highlighted in green. In yellow, it means that this word has been found in a public glossary. And when it is highlighted in green, it means that it's been found in a private glossary. So that's the main difference. And if you want to see what are the public glossary results, you can check here. Again, I will make it a bit larger. So we highlight in yellow when we find an exact match. But as these are very large public glossary, you see this one is from Termium, it is in Canada. This one is from IATE, which is European terminology. We list some terms that are maybe not the exact one, but that may give some extra information. And so you can check all that. So you see we have Termium again, IATE again. So there's plenty of information there. And you have the private glossary entry, which is again in the first position. So that is one thing. The other thing that is interesting with glossary is that if you put your cursor on top of it, you can see that it displays what is the translation. But if we do an error here and say, use another word or do a mistake, then the system will highlight and say, okay, when it's in red, it means that you did not respect the private terminology in the target sentence. So now if I correct it, it will become green again. So those are all little tools that are interesting. You see, for example, here I have the Arteria, which is used probably twice or is missing for the arteries. Yeah, it's a plural version. Again, we have two suggestions coming from the translation memory. And you see the difference. This may include, this can include. We see that it's missing some text here. You see, and it's missing in the translation memory, missing something. So we can take, for example, the DeepL translation and voila, make any change and continue like that. So that's really what I want to show. We have access. If you want to search for anything in the TM, you can also go here and just type any word. So I know it's in Spanish, so let's search in English. I can type her, and the system will search all the glossaries, all the private translation memory for one or more words. So you can still access it manually when the system does not find something automatically. All right, so now let's bring another tool in the game, which is ChatGPT. You can access ChatGPT by just clicking on this button here.
Excuse me, Philippe, before
Yes.
going to ChatGPT, sorry, there's a question about glossaries. Someone is asking if you can upload your own glossary.
Yes, you can. You have two systems. Either you upload your own glossary, which is in Excel format, or you can use. Help me here, Fernando. So I can say, for example, I choose this word, and I will go to the glossary and decide to, and what will be that's this one. I just prepare a new glossary entry here.
So you can create it on the go.
I edit on the go, yeah, and I add it just like that. And now, as you can see, it appears in green because it's a private glossary entry also.
Okay. And how do you upload an Excel glossary? Can you show us quickly?
Right, absolutely. So again, at any time, you can go to the settings, and if you have not done it, you can create a new glossary, create a new translation memory. So for example, if I want to create a new glossary here, I just click, I will call it Academia Glossary, for example. So what I want to show also is that I can attach as many glossary as I want to a project. I can also attach as many translation memories. So for example, if I want to use also this customer B translation memory, I simply click it and then it moves into this area, which is the active translation memories and glossaries.
Inside setting.
Yeah, and this area is the one that is inactive translation. So if you change your mind, for example, and you decide that you don't want to use customer B translation memory anymore, just unclick it, and then it will move back to the inactive zone.
Great.
Something important. Sorry.
No. You mentioned that the tool can admit the Excel format for glossaries, but which formats for TMs does WordScope admit? Any format or not?
The standard format TMX.
TMX.
So if you are working with another tool, you export to TMX and then you can import it into WordScope.
Okay, great. And I'm sure you're going to talk about this later or maybe in a few minutes, but someone, Ana Carolina, is asking if you need to have the paid version of ChatGPT in order to use it in WordScope.
Absolutely not. So yeah, that's a good question. I didn't say yet that WordScope is a subscription-based tool, and once you are a member, we have also a free version. You have access to DeepL Pro, you have access to ChatGPT, and it's all included in your subscription. So we will never ask you what is your API key. So we are using paid version, and we cover all the costs for doing that. So this all included in the WordScope subscription.
You don't need to pay for ChatGPT, not for DeepL Pro.
No.
Included.
It's all included, yeah.
Yeah, and Daniel is asking something very interesting. What about privacy in DeepL and in ChatGPT?
We'll talk about that at the end, if you don't mind.
Great. So, sorry.
I'm going back to your question. So to quickly find, as you can see, some things are blue and some things are green here. When it's green, it means it's a glossary. When it's blue, it means it's a translation memory. And you were asking how to import. So here, for example, if I want to import into this translation memory, I can just, there is a little menu here, import, export. I can just click import, and the system will ask me for the TMX file here. If I want to import a glossary, in this one, for example, is the same as import glossary, and it would ask me the XLS file. If you are not sure about the format, you can download a sample file here and all the language code that are supported by WordScope here. So it's very easy. So if you are not sure, download our sample files and use that one to import. Okay, Nando?
Yes, it's okay. Someone is asking about how to upload a glossary, but I think you have already explained it.
Yeah, that's what I just said, import a glossary.
So yeah, you can go ahead.
Okay. So let's move to ChatGPT. So we have been using translation memory. We have been using several machine translation. We have been using public glossary, private glossaries, and now we want to add ChatGPT on top of that. And what can we do with ChatGPT? So again, you don't need to exit WordScope. You click on ChatGPT at any time, and it opens a small window. And here on the right, we have a series of predefined functions. That's important because it's very difficult to write good prompts, as they are called today. So prompts are the instruction that we can give to ChatGPT. And again, if you need to write a prompt, what you will need to do, for example, if you want to translate this sentence, maybe you have to select it. Then let me move that window. You go to ChatGPT, you have to say translate into English. English, Then you see the time I take, I paste, I copy, and then ChatGPT will translate. Then I need to copy it back to my CAT tool. This is something that we don't want to do. So in WordScope, you can use any of the function by doing, there are two ways. Either you select a word in the source or in the target. So for example, let's select this one, and you click the button definition, for example. And so what WordScope does is send that information to ChatGPT, capture the results, and bring it here directly inside the CAT tool. Okay, so that's the easiest function. The most interesting one, I will clear each time so we can see the thing properly. So for example, let me take another one. I'm not sure to understand what is this one. Tiny cluster, is it the right way to say the thing? So I select it, and then I can ask to explain. The difference between explain and definition is that with explain, WordScope will send some context. We say, okay, the translator want to know what is this tiny cluster in this context, etc. Give some more information. So I click, you see, refer to small group, etc. It's giving you the information about and really related to the context. And you can do that for source on target. So if I select this, for example, in the source sentence, and I click explain, that WordScope knows that the information need to send to ChatGPT, and you get the information right into your interface without doing cut and paste. Sorry, without all the difficulties to type some prompt, etc. So those are the basic questions. And as you have seen, I've selected one word. So I can select one word, again, a few words, and say, okay, translate, or select it from here also. It doesn't matter. And then the system will adapt. So if you want to do like a back translation, you select the target, and then we ask ChatGPT to do the translation into the source. If you select something in here, then it will be the contrary, of course. That's one thing. If you select nothing, then the system knows that you want to use the full sentence. So you don't need to select the full sentence. You want to translate the full sentence, just click translate and select nothing. And here we have something special, is that WordScope asks ChatGPT to give you two suggestions to translate this sentence. Again, we are using a track change system, as you can see, so you can quickly see the difference. You see the kidney contain million of tiny cluster, the kidney have million of small groups of blood vessels. It's another way of saying the same thing. It might be interesting. And then also we ask ChatGPT to comment when there is something interesting to say about this. What else can we do? Let's say that you prefer this second sentence. You don't have to select it and copy paste. Just hit this copy button here, and WordScope will copy that thing into the edit area. You can still modify it, adjust it to whatever you want, and then you validate it to go to the next segment. So another very interesting function, let me try to probably find a longer sentence.
Probably you are going to talk us about modifying these prompts or creating new ones.
No, creating new one, currently you cannot do that, or modify, no.
Okay, so we can only use these prompts, but not new ones or customize?
Exactly. That's something that we will add in the future because we had some requests about that to allow users to add their own prompt. But one that we find very interesting is that let's say that, that helped you. Let's say, for example, that you don't like this part of the sentence and you're not sure how to rephrase it. It's not always easy. So we can use the alternative button, and what that will do, will ask ChatGPT, okay, can you try to change only this part of my translation and make suggestion, and try to keep as much as possible the rest of the sentence. So if we ask that, move it bigger again, you see, it can do that. So here, what does it say? That help treat, and he say that assist in treating, or that contribute to treating. So you see, that's very interesting, because sometimes it's very difficult to find another word and keep the same sentence. So alternative, we believe that's really interesting function. Again, if I prefer this version, I can just use copy, and it will copy the translation to the edit area. So quickly, what else do we have? We have a spelling. We check the spelling. That's something fairly normal. What is more interesting is, let me see. Okay, let's take this example, for example. I will change this sentence. I will make it a bad translation. So I will change from low blood sugar to high blood glucose, and shortly, or something stupid before. But okay, what I want to say is that this is a bad translation. If you give that sentence to the best spell checker, it will not find anything wrong, because there's no spelling mistake in this sentence. And what we want to do now is ask ChatGPT to proofread this sentence. And what it will do, it will check if it is a faithful translation, and also check any possible grammar or spelling mistake. So let's see if it can detect my errors. I made stupid errors in this case, but all kinds of errors can happen even with TM, a TM that has been updated too quickly. I don't have to tell you that it's always possible. But here, I really want to show you that it goes much further than a simple spell checker. So I asked ChatGPT to proofread. So as you can see, it can detect immediately the two things that I've changed, and it is explaining me the central incorrectly high blood sugar instead of low blood sugar. And it says it was shortly before birth and not shortly after. So it can really identify what is the problem. It can go even further. Much better. If I go back to my entry, I think I had an entry where I had a private glossary entry. Or I can create a new one. Okay, no, let's say this one. So this one has this correction. Let's say that I'm removing or I'm changing tingling. I don't know. I will say pain and thing. So change that. So you can see that there is a problem, but let's see if ChatGPT can detect that there is a glossary problem. Again, what I want to show is that in WordScope, we connect all that together. You have nothing to do. You don't have to do any cut and paste. And let's see. So of course, it could detect my two errors. And source central was omitted, correctly translated. So here it doesn't say it's not in the glossary, but it will check if it is in the glossary, and if you are not using the proper translation, then it will tell you that you did not respect the glossary. So that's something really interesting I wanted to show you today. By having everything all together, we can really bring some additional power. Last thing may want to do is, say, for example, we can ask ChatGPT, okay, can you extract some terminology? If you are looking for terminology, again, WordScope will try to find some context and send that information, and ask ChatGPT to bring us the terminology related to this context. Sometimes that takes a little longer because, well, it's a longer analysis, there more text. So what do we see? It gives us a series of text related directly, the definition, and if we extend that, because the window is a bit too small, we can extend the window by the button here at the bottom, and then we have the text in the source language, in the target language, and the definition. Then you can copy paste that in an Excel, import as a glossary, do whatever you want. Okay.
There are a couple of questions. May I make those questions to you, Philippe?
Yeah, please.
Okay. The first one is about the location of the server. As this is a web-based tool, I guess we are working directly on your server. And Isabel asks, where is the server located?
The server, they are located in Europe.
Okay. Okay, great. So it's complied with the European regulations.
ChatGPT, yeah, absolutely.
Thank you. Eric is asking if the program system can be set to another language, or it's just in English.
The interface?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, currently the interface is English, French, and Dutch, and we are looking for more language soon, yeah, including Spanish.
Great. And the last one, this question was made a few minutes before, but I think it's rather interesting. Someone is asking if there is somewhere where we can check this direction or this information, just in case we forget all this explanation when we are using WordScope. Are there any videos or instructions there somewhere in your website to use the program, although it's quite straightforward and intuitive, but...
Yeah, we are adding more and more. We have a website called docs.wordscope.com, where you can find all kind of information, tips. You see how to connect, for example, all DeepL automatically connected to WordScope, and we try to add more and more articles there. Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
Something that's interesting also, you have seen that ChatGPT was always answering in English this time, but if you guys translate from English to Spanish, for example, then by default, WordScope will tell ChatGPT to answer in the target language of the project. So if the target language of the project is Spanish, ChatGPT will answer in Spanish. So that's by default something important, but you can still change that. So for example, if I want to ask ChatGPT to answer in Spanish, I can do it here. And if again, I ask what is this thing here, and I have to explain, then no, because I requested to answer in Spanish, it will answer me in Spanish. It can be any language, but what I wanted to say is that by default, it will be using the target language of your project to answer.
That's great. And I think, Philippe, you said before that those prompts cannot be modified, but can you view the prompts, how they are programmed for checking or not?
No, we don't want to share that because we have spent so much time sharing, testing them, and so yeah. And also, it cannot be easily used because, as I've said, for example, if you select a word and you say explain, it's not only explain that we send to ChatGPT. We build a prompt, we explain, we give ChatGPT the context, we say the translator is trying to translate this sentence, and you see, we send all kinds of information with the selected text. So it is quite complex to do, and it wouldn't be easy to do.
Okay, great. But I think you mentioned that you are thinking about allowing to create your own prompts, right?
Absolutely. And something also, let's switch it back to English. So you can also type any question. So we have the predefined prompt. You can say what is I'm typing a simple question and it will answer also. So you can use our prompt or you can type a question, but your question cannot be recorded at this moment, but I will be able to provide that soon.
Great, thank you.
All right, so let me go back to this one. What I want to show you to conclude the live presentation, I want to show you how you can take control of AI, and with an example that I prepared from another presentation at this AI Summit. Some other may have seen it, but I think it's really interesting. So let me do a new project, and we'll call it Federal. Oops. And this will be from French into English, and okay. Sometimes when you're translating official documents, for example, legal translation, Fernando, I think you know that, it's talking about loi fédérale, for example, sur l'acquisition d'immeubles par des personnes à l'étranger, is the title of a federal act. So, of course, it should be using the official title, right? So in this example, when I was doing that research, I took this example from a real website. So I can show you from the Swiss government. So what will you do as a translator if you have to translate that? You will type that, you will find the official text here, and then if you're translating into English, you will go to the English version of the text, and here you will have the official translation, okay? Federal acquisition of immovable property in Switzerland by foreign non-residents. Now, if I go to my example, let's see the translation of the L is Federal Acts of Real Estate by Real Estate Person Abroad. It's absolutely not the official title, okay, which is immovable property, and DeepL is translating that real estate. The other tools are making similar errors. We have also the acronym for that, which is this one in French, and look, it's LFAI. If we look here, the correct acronym is ANRA. So what I want to say that now, if that appears a lot in a document, that will take you a hell lot of time to correct it all over again. And you see, it's always making the same error, and that can cause problems, take you plenty of time, etc. So we were talking about glossary. And yes, before I go to show you the solution, I was checking during that research if that text was properly translated in the official web page. So this was the first one. It was good, immovable property. Then I searched for this text in other web page on the Swiss website. Okay, this one was good also. Let me see. You see, on this one, it was Federal Act on Acquisition of Real Estate. That is wrong, but I'm still on the admin CH. This one was Federal Law, not Federal Act, also real estate. So what I'm not saying that the translator was a bad one, not, but I say it takes a hell lot of time to find the right translation for those text, title, acronym, etc. So it's normal that this kind of problem happen. So what is the solution to make sure that you will translate that properly? again, we can simply use a glossary. So I will just enter 2 glossary entries. So here we have Loi fédérale sur l'acquisition. I will create a glossary entry with that. And the official translation. Let me close that. I've created into, not to make it easier. So the correct translation is Federal Act. So I will correct it on the first segment. And I will create that as a glossary entry. And then I will also create the acronym, which was ANRA. Okay, so I summarize. I've created 2 glossary entries, one for the title of the law, one for the acronym. We have seen that DeepL was not translating properly that. So now, where is the next one? In my text, okay, on this segment. So if we progress now in this document, you see here it was translated acquisition of real estate.
I've seen that when you select some parts of the text in the source, it highlights in yellow in the other segments automatically.
Yeah, it's the feature of the browser. Yeah.
Okay, great.
So now I continue my text, and look, when we arrive here, as you can see now, the translation, acquisition of immovable property by non-resident, and the acronyms are both correct. And if we see on DeepL, which I remind you was not correct, now it's giving the proper translation of the text. So what does that mean? Is that again, WordScope is telling DeepL, use these glossary entries when giving me a suggestion. And then it's giving you the proper translation. So that's really important because now you don't have to fix that over and over again. And the same story happened with ChatGPT. So let me, for example, do again, let's say that I change that to real estate. And I ask ChatGPT to proofread this translation. See, it says to match the term used in the glossary. So in WordScope, they are all connected together. That's really a difference. If you use ChatGPT on your own, you would have to do so much copy-paste to achieve that kind of result.
Philippe, one question. When using DeepL inside WordScope, does DeepL, or are you allowed to choose between different options of terms that DeepL provides in their app, or not? Or it's just one sentence?
Just one sentence, yes, currently, yeah.
Okay, you cannot choose. Yeah, I guess so, because it's like it works in Trados or other CAT tools when you integrate it there.
Yeah, we don't have the option with the API to use DeepL, but what I've just shown that you can control DeepL somehow by connecting to the glossary and reaching. I know that we have done some tests with a customer where that customer had a private machine translation system, so a machine translation system in the health domain that was trained with their data, and then we compare it to DeepL with glossaries, and there was exactly the same. There was no improvement of having just custom MT. So the generic DeepL with a good glossary was achieving really great results.
Yeah, and actually there's so many options of using glossaries here. So I think it's you don't need it.
Exactly.
Okay.
So you can really control it. You can really control it like that. So that's really important.
I don't know if you have already finished or there's something you want to show us.
I finished the what I wanted to show in WordScope. Let me see. Yeah. So yeah, confidentiality. If you wanted to talk about confidentiality now, I can answer this question. So we do three main things to ensure confidentiality.
Okay.
First, as we have said at the beginning, we are using only paid pro version of DeepL, etc., and we cover all the costs for doing that. If you watch the general condition of these tools, they guarantee that using the paid pro version, your data is not used to train their system. Then the second thing we do is that we will never ask you to provide your own subscription. So that means that all requests are going through WordScope server. So there's no connection between your question and a ChatGPT or DeepL system. You are completely anonymous. And the third and most important thing probably is that WordScope only decide what to send, and it will send the minimum of information. So it may decide to send a few segments because it needs context, but it will never send the full text. And I would never recommend to do that. I've seen some trainings where all the text is pasted into a WordScope. If you are using the pro version, that's also confidential. But here, by the fact that we are only sending small segments, it's an extra level of confidentiality. Alors, the last thing I wanted to say to conclude this presentation is that, and I think you made an excellent presentation, Fernando, about that. I think you said the thing, translators should get specialized in a field. And I took that from your slide, Fernando. I think you should get out of your comfort zone. And what we add is that we recommend working with small agency or direct client, because the ones that are putting a lot of pressure on price are generally very large agency. And I've been working in several small agency, and I can tell you that good translator, they are just like gold for small agency. A small agency want to keep their translator. It's very important. So I'm sure there will be no risk as we hear with larger agency. And then try AI tools. If you are not sure, you can try, make your own decision. And but I think it's really important to try. So my last slide is this one. I want to say that we have created WordScope, as I say, it's a subscription base. We have 3 subscription systems, a bronze one, which is totally free, but you can do 3 projects per month. And then we have a silver and gold subscription. And if you use this code, Academia 2024, you will get 40% off for life on our subscription price, something that you will recover very fast. We have some customers, for example, who have told us that they've doubled their turnovers since they are using AI and WordScope. Why? Because they can translate faster, so the customer keep giving more work, and that's easier for everybody.
Okay, this discount is forever and in every on all the types of subscriptions, or in just one type?
No, on all the types, yeah. And
All the types.
there's no time limit, but the coupon is valid until December 31. It must be used before, but there is no limit on the 40%.
That's great. Here in the chat, there's people who are saying that they are going to throw Trados away just to prove WordScope, because they are amazed by all the things that this tool can do. So this is amazing. Thank you so much, Philippe. And well, let me check if there's another question, or some people are telling me that to congratulate you, to say thank you for this presentation. That was great.
Thank you. I see a question about tax, maybe.
About, sorry, what?
Tax. I see Anna Bogdan. She's asking what about tax.
Let me check it
in the meeting chat.
Let me check it. Or I can find that question. Anna, if you can write it again. We will be so pleased to address that question.
So the answer, yes, we can. We do support tax, of course. It's always a pain for translator and for CAT tools, but yes, we do support them.
Yeah, the question was, are there tags in WordScope?
Yes.
And the price, Maria is talking about the price. Can you please, Philippe, share the screen in your website with the pricing,
absolutely.
pricing options, so people can say what the pricing options are and so they can choose?
So here.
Okay, great.
Let me turn
so the free version allows one of three projects, one of three documents per month?
Yeah, the free version allows 3 documents per month, 1 translation memories, and there are some limitation also on, you see, it's 4 megabytes files maximum, so you cannot upload 100 megabyte PowerPoint. There are some limitation also on the use of ChatGPT. That's one thing. On the silver subscription, which is 40 euro per month, minus 40%, you can have 5 translation memory and up to 20 documents per month. And the gold subscription, there is no limit. I want to say also that the silver and gold, there is no limit on ChatGPT, or there is no limit for MT usage. That's all included in the price.
And with your discount, this converts into silver into 23.4 euros per month, and the gold version 35.4 euros per month. I think it's a deal.
Yeah, because again, as I say, try it, that kind of amount, what is it, half an hour of work, and I can guarantee that WordScope will save you that at the very first project. So it's really knowing that we cover all the costs behind that there is no limit on the MT or ChatGPT usage. I think, but if you want to try it, try the free version. We don't ask you anything than the email address, no credit card, no nothing.
Okay, and going back to the beginning, just people is asking in the chat box if you can share or work with different translators in the same project, just sharing the link of the project at the beginning of the configuration, right?
Exactly. You can. So if you take that link and you send it to a translator, even if that translator is not a member of WordScope, he will be able to access the project. That's why you should not make a link public. It should keep it confidential. So that's important.
There's no credentials, just the link.
Yeah, just the link. Yeah. Okay. But what is important also is that if I share the link, I can maybe try to show you that. If I share okay, let's very quickly. You see here, I have always something. Okay, I have a translation memory and a glossary connect to this project. Now, if I share the link, I will use another browser to simulate another user. So I'm opening Firefox. I'm the other translator. I received this. And if you go in the settings, sorry, I'm connected on Firefox, so I need to disconnect myself. Okay, so I'm not connected at this moment. So if you go into the setting, you see that the settings are gray. So it means that you create a project, you attach your memory, you attach your glossary, you outsource your project to somebody else. That person with the link will be able to work on your project, but will not be able to download your translation memory, will not be able to download your glossary, will only be able to do what you allow that person to do. So that's important.
Okay, that's great. So you control how far they go in accessing the project.
Of course, you don't want to share. You want to share your translation memory for the duration of the project. That doesn't mean that you want to give away your translation memory, right? So that's exactly what we do. So you create the project, you attach your memory because you allow that translator to use it, and then, but only for the duration of the project. So of course, the translator can use it only with this project and not with any other project.
Okay, so great. I think you can stop sharing your screen in case there's any other question. I will ask you to put it again. But yeah, that's one question. Once the project is finished, can you cancel the link or make it private so no one else can access it?
Yes, you can deactivate it from the project list page. There is a button which allows you to change the password of the project, and then it generates another URL with a new name, so it's not accessible. Or you can also archive the project, and when it is archived, then it's not anymore accessible.
Okay, so thank you very much, Philippe. It was amazing. Someone else asked in the chat if he can buy shares of your company. He was so amazed about the things that WordScope can do. And I must say, as a disclaimer, that we are not affiliated of you. We don't have any commission or fees for the license that you sell. But you are just one sponsor. You were a sponsor of our bootcamp, but all the subscriptions that WordScope sells, there's no commission for us. We are happy to share this tool with our membership, with our community, with the people in El Club, and of course via our YouTube channel, because we think that this tool is incredible, is amazing, and we should know about these new tools. One of them is WordScope, and I think it can improve our work dramatically. So thank you for your presentation, Philippe.
Well, and thank you for having me. It's really a pleasure to share the information. And please, again, excuse me if I was not clear all the time because of that temporary paralysis. I hope I was clear. It was fine.
Absolutely. Well, there's just one final question or remark about Fiorella. If you don't mind, I will open her mic to say something. Go ahead, Fiorella. There you are.
Thank you so much, Fernando. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much, Philip. This was great. I just wanted to say to everybody that I use WordScope since 2023, and I really recommend it. I mean, it's really good. I use it a lot for synonyms. It's really helpful because the Spanish language is so, full of different nuances that actually WordScope provides a lot of help regarding that. And I use it on a weekly basis, so I really recommend it.
Thank you, Fiorella. Appreciate it. It's always nice to hear that.
Thank you.
Okay, guys, so thank you very much, Fiorella. Thank you again, Philippe, and all the members of our membership El Club. Thank you for being here, and I hope you will take advantage of this amazing offer. But remember, it's available until December 31, so don't lose that deadline.
We also, I want to say one last word, we'll be organizing a series of training sessions in January or February. There is an event page on our Dux website if you are interested to, or if you, Fernando, you have some demand from your community to organize a training session, it will be a pleasure to organize it at any time if you want. Because there are plenty of small tips that I couldn't show in just an hour. And because we've tried to keep the interface as simple, maybe if you can confirm that it's quite easy to start. But there are plenty of hidden stuff that are sometimes nice to discover.
Sure. Thank you again, Philippe. And
again, thank you.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, you too also. Thank you.